I'm just not sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your bad.
You are now listening to Open Season. Your host, Billy Allen.
Welcome. It's Tuesday, and we're up in here, stepping up into the 9 o'clock hour. I'm your host, Billy Allen, sitting shotgun. We've got Justin Allain. How you doing, Justin?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Hell yeah. We're talking about the NBA trade deadline. You know, the Celtics going against Houston tonight. Couple steamy teams going at it. Celtics. And Jaylen Brown is the player of the week. They're running hot. Does the Celtics team have what it takes to beat Milwaukee? We're going to redraft the NBA All-Stars. We didn't think Giannis and LeBron did a good enough job. We're going to talk a little bit more about the other NBAs, and we're just going to smash the Red Sox because this Mookie Betts trade and Chaim, we're not liking him. We're not liking Chaim. But first, you can read him in the Boston Sports Journal. You can hear him on 98.5. He produces the Gasper and Murray Show. Brian Robb, we've got him on to talk Celtics. B-Rob, good evening. How's it going?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolutely. We appreciate any time you can clear out of your schedule to join the show. And I think we'll get right into it with the trade deadline. And it seems like a lot of bigs were out there to be had. It was a buyer's market. Obviously, the Celtics didn't make a move. You know, there's guys out there maybe on the buyout market, maybe a Tristan Thompson. I listened to you this weekend. You were talking about maybe Wayne Ellington. Tyler Johnson seems like somebody. Is there any good buyout candidate you see for the Celtics? And did they need to make a move, B-Rob?
Yeah, it's a great question in terms of whether they need to make a move or not. I think, honestly, time will tell. I was very much thinking that they would make a move, just based on the number of, excess draft picks they had, and clearly could use some upgrades to the end of the rotation, I feel like. But it clearly was a situation where there wasn't a lot of, mid to low tier bench guys just moved at the trade deadline. They weren't outbid necessarily for a bunch of guys where you could point to like, hey, why didn't they get Dallas Bertans? He was, moved. A lot of teams just decided, hey, we don't, we're either going to ask for an absurd amount of picks here for a rental or, say, hey, we want to keep these guys. We might, hold on to them long term. So we're going to avoid giving them up for a second round pick or two and hold on to them. So, but yeah, like you said, the buyout market is still an option here. I do, the Celtics clearly wanted Marvin Williams as a loss for him to go to Milwaukee.
Yep.
But like you said, the names you mentioned, I think any of those guys would be worth bringing aboard. Maybe Tyler Johnson's the one. I'm not sure what he has left at this point, but he's only 27. He's not really down here in Phoenix, but the Celtics did like him way, even back before he signed with Miami early in his career. So he'd be a nice change of pace guy to have. Wayne Ellington as a shooter, I think, would be a great, offensive option to have to spread the floor at times.
Yeah,
and then Tristan Thompson, I mean, if he becomes a free agent, he'd be great. But the word is right now that he's going to stay with Cleveland, so they might be out of luck there.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess at this point, the Milwaukee Bucks are just absolutely rolling. And the Celtics stayed pat, but they're potentially going to be winners out of 11 out of 12 after tonight. We'll see. And they've got 7 straight. Do they have enough to get past the Bucks in your mind? And if you were going to rate the top 4 in the East, how would you kind of rate that as far as teams?
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks are clearly the clear-cut one. I do think maybe next to, like, Philadelphia clearly has, in terms of matching up with the Bucks, they have the length. They're built to kind of beat the Bucks, and even though they weren't really built to beat a lot of other teams in this league right now, based on how their season's going, and whether or not they figure it out in time for the playoffs remains to be seen. But it kind of reminds me of how things went in Boston last year, where it's just it's not clicking there. But I do think out of, the Miamis and even the Torontos of the world, I think the Celtics do match up the best with Bucks out of those teams, just in terms of a versatility perspective.
Yep.
With having so many different guys that can, guard different positions. Clearly having, 4 or 5 threats on the floor at all times if they want to have Smart out there. Even a guy like Tice, who's been a nice surprise in the middle this year, can shoot 3 a bit. And so I would, Bucks 1, I'd put the Celtics 2. The Raptors are right there at 3. They've been red hot. I still, I like them a ton, but I do wonder, they've been a great regular season team for years, even without Kawhi, but I wonder how well that's going to go in the playoffs without Kawhi there, just to
they turn into a pumpkin like usual.
Guy. And then right after that, I would probably go Philly would be number 4. I'd still put them ahead of Miami.
Okay.
And Indy.
Yeah, because a lot of people seem to think that Andre Iguodala move was a big move. I mean, when I look at it, I don't see that Andre Iguodala has a whole lot left in the tank. Can you talk a little bit about that move? Did you see him as a coveted free agent? Did you like his plan kind of coming from Milwaukee? What do you think ultimately of a guy like Andre Iguodala and what he brings to a team like the Heat?
Yeah, he clearly has the veteran experience that any team would want given his, play in Golden State over the last few years. At the same time, he's 36 years old.
Yeah.
And his offensive game, I think, is pretty limited at this point. He can still pass well. He can still defend. But he's not a knockdown shooter, and he's really not going to bring a ton to that end of the floor. Now, they have a lot of their shooting, so that might not be a huge issue for them, but I just don't think he was enough to kind of turn the tide in the East as far as the talent level that Miami has. They've been a nice story early. They've got a lot of surprising young talent there, and Duncan Robinson, another mass guy, and Terrence Nunn.
Oh, yeah.
But in the playoffs, it's Jimmy Butler. You have Bam Adebayo, who's a nice up-and-coming player, but then not a lot of guys that can create their own shot. And Iguodala is just not a guy who can do that at this stage of his career. So when things get tight in the playoffs, it's not a bad gamble for them to have him for the next couple of years, especially when you give away a guy in Winslow who obviously gets hurt a ton. But I still think that they're probably a second round out in the East.
So, B-Rob, you had mentioned versatility a couple minutes ago. I guess one player on the Celtics has been very versatile is Gordon Hayward. Over the past couple months, with Kemba Walker being out, playing the point, and really running the show, he's been playing, almost to the all-star level before he got hurt. I know that you had written an article today in the Boston Sports Journal about Gordon Hayward staying with the Celtics, obviously with his opt-out year next year. With the people that didn't read the article, what are your points in terms of why he would be staying with the Celtics next year?
Yeah, so I kind of just did an overlook of free agency this summer, and he has a $34 million player option. He could very well just opt in and take that money, but at age 30, he might decide, hey, I want some long-term security here. I'm going to opt out, and so I kind of just took a look at the market in terms of what teams have, max cap room after the trade deadline, since there was some, obviously wheeling and dealing on that front. And to be honest, there's really not a lot of teams out there. I think there's only 6 teams, period, that could conceivably open up, up to $30 million in cap room. Now that could change with more trades in the offseason, but out of those teams, the only playoff team in there really is Miami. So you think Hayward at this point in his career, he wants to win. He doesn't want to kind of start over and with the Knicks or some other team with just a ton of young guys. And so Miami could be a factor. They were a finalist a couple years ago for him when he picked Boston. At the same time, Miami, I have a feeling, are going to be waiting for some bigger fish in 2021 free agency when Giannis and conceivably LeBron and some other really big names hit the market there too. So I just think it's from a Celtics, if you're a Celtics fan, I think it's a pretty good sign that, they obviously can't afford to lose him for nothing, and because they don't have cap room to replace him this summer. And I don't think he's going to have many other options. So unlike Al Horford last summer, who kind of found the perfect spot at the time for him, which he thought was Philly, on big money and a good role, I don't think that kind of perfect spot is going to be out there for Hayward this summer, which makes me feel like that he's going to likely stay here.
It's crazy to think that Gordon Hayward is the player that we thought he was going to be when he first signed. Remember when he first got here in the preseason, he was the guy that was bringing up the ball. It wasn't Kyrie Irving. And, obviously he got hurt, and Kyrie was the primary ball handler. This year he's becoming more of a ball handler, and it's really changed the whole dynamic of the team, passing the ball a lot more instead of the ISO basketball that we saw a lot of last year. So hopefully he does stay because he's made a significant impact, and he's a real game changer late in these games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great point by you. Like, he's sacrificed a ton on this team, just like you said, distributing more than shooting. He'll get his when he needs to, but he's clearly, been great on that front.
B-Rob, we'll let you go on this. It seems like tonight is a matchup of kind of the two small ball teams, Boston and the Rockets. When you look at it and you think about the Celtics potentially extending their win streak to 8, potentially going 11 out of 12. When you look at these two teams, who do you think has a greater chance of making the finals this year? There was a big debate this morning on talk radio. Who do you like better out of these two teams to make the finals?
That's a great question. It's honestly, I think the Celtics. I don't think either has a great chance to make the finals.
Right.
But I think the Houston. Them getting through the Lakers and the Clippers with no bigs. I think it's just I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
I respect him for trying it, but it's just like, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, the talking head's got to find something to talk about in the morning. But, yeah. Hey, well, Brian, we totally appreciate you checking in with us. And there we go. There you have it, Brian Robb. You can hear him on read him in the Boston Sports Journal, hear him on Gasper and Murray, one of my favorite shows on the weekend, really getting in there with that Celtics insight. So we appreciate you making time for us tonight. And we'll move on to, I don't know, Justin. What do you want to do? You want to draft the All-Star game?
Let's go for it. Giannis did not do a good job at it. It's a complete epic failure. So I figured let's give it a shot of two wizards that actually know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, Giannis is going to be a captain for probably like the next 5 years, so I'd say he needs to brush up. He might need some consultants.
Yeah, you can't keep drafting Chris Middleton with your first pick.
So let's take teams here, and obviously we open up the phones at 617-702-2542. Again, you can catch Brian on the Boston Sports Journal and hear him on 98.5 Gasper and Murray. If you're not already listening, that's a great show, and especially if you're a Celtics fan. So we always appreciate what he can dole out to us. But as we get into it, let's take teams here. And, since I've been known to occasionally root for LeBron.
Yeah, I hate LeBron, so you can have him.
So I think I'll take LeBron, and you can go with your man Giannis. And I think with my number one pick, I'm going Luka Doncic. Welcome to the squad.
That was going to be my guy. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to go with Anthony Davis with mine, just because he is the best player available.
Okay. All right. So I think that's going to bring it to, I would say I would want to pick Kawhi Leonard, but I would assume he's not going to play that game, right? Should just be an open assumption at this point.
I think you should take him. He's a lot of fun to watch.
If I flick a nickel, if every other time he's bound to probably sit out. So I am going to go with Dame Lillard. He's been absolutely crushing it. Been putting in about, he's been, ever since Kobe died, it really feels like he's been absolutely insane. Been averaging like over 35 points in his last 10 games or so. Absolutely stone cold. I'm going with Dame Lillard.
All right, then. I guess I'm just going to tower over you and go with Joel Embiid. So I got Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Joel Embiid. Good luck getting a shot off.
Yeah, I would say that.
It doesn't matter how soft you are in the regular season like Joel Embiid is, but when it comes to All-Star games, he'll show up.
Yeah, and I could pick somebody, the ultimate hoarder of stats. I could pick somebody like Westbrook in this spot, but Let's see. Good thing we don't have a shot clock on this. Let's go with the player of the week, Jason Tatum. Welcome to the squad.
Well, I know a guy that misses a lot of three-pointers, and I have all the guys that will get the rebounds for him, so I guess I'll go with James Harden here.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think in the same vein, I'm going to have to go. Well, I can't go short here. I can't. I've got to go. I got to take Rudy Gobert. I don't have any height on my team right now, so I have to take Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, welcome to the squad.
All right, well then I guess I'm going to have to take my boy Brandon Ingram.
So there you have it. There you got your 5. So let's see. We got LeBron, Doncic, Lillard, Jason Tatum, Rudy Gobert. That's a team without a whole lot of size.
I'm just going to destroy you like the Monstars in Space Jam.
I'm going to hope that my guys can actually dribble past you a bit. But
Good luck getting the ball away from Harden. He's going to dribble the whole game.
Yeah, well, Harden's going to take like 48 shots. Well, he's probably going to take 15 threes. At the recipe to every game, 15 threes, 15 free throws, and then whatever else he can get off.
Well, good thing there's no free throws in the All-Star game.
Oh, God. Well,
they don't
I
play
can't
defense.
keep up for another rule change that they've made. This one, I mean, you need a calculator to figure out where you are with this game. Apparently, at the end, they're going to add 24 points on for Kobe. Like, all the Kobe tributes, they're great. They've been great. But this one, adding math into the All-Star game, this is one that I can't handle. I feel like, one, I don't follow the All-Star game, and people don't anyway. And now that you're going to add on. So, like, every quarter they're saying they're going to take it and put it back to, like, 0. So you're not going to be able to know what they scored beforehand. Isn't anybody keeping track of the score anyway?
I can tell you what I'll be doing on Sunday. It's not watching the All-Star game. Haven't watched it since probably Kobe was a rookie. Don't care for it. It's kind of a joke.
Well, I think you could say that with pretty much any All-Star game. If you were to pick one All-Star game, who do you think does it best?
Probably baseball.
Yeah, I would say baseball is the only one that people kind of still care about.
Because it's the only thing that's on TV on a Tuesday night in the middle of July.
Well, it's also the only thing that players aren't like sitting out of constantly. It's now you got the best hockey players sitting out of the All-Star game. You got the best NBA players sitting out. So
What they should do is give all the baseball players a bunch of roids before the game. Let them juice up and smack a bunch of home runs. The ratings will go through the roof.
oh, I think they take enough roids as it is, but
I
yeah.
mean, you might as if baseball's cheating with signs. I mean,
And let's go to the phones. We got one ringing through here. Who do we got?
Yo, it's Whitey from Queens.
Whitey, what's going on?
Not much, my man.
Coming in long distance.
Can't believe you have Allain running the show with you tonight.
Yeah.
I've been anxiously waiting for your call, Whitey.
Allain, it's been a minute, bro. I haven't talked to you in forever.
I know it has been quite some time. It's last time I talked to you, I don't think the Yankees had won a World Series. Red Sox have won a couple since I last saw you.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
It's okay.
You guys also. That's
And,
actually a
and,
perfect
and now we
segue,
got Chaim Bloom leading the way, leading us to the promised land, Whitey. Suck on that.
No, that's a perfect segue because
We got the AAA team playing for us this year.
I was calling in to express my disgust over the Astros cheating scandal, but you guys cheated too. 2 years ago. So.
No, it was just the Astros. All the cheating happened on the Astros. When the flight came through to Massachusetts, that's when he stopped all of his cheating.
Yeah, he just became, like Mr. Good
Yeah,
guy,
something
Mr.
in the
Integrity.
air.
I read a recent article that the cheating with the Apple Watches actually started with Chris Young when he was on the New York Yankees. And then he came to the Red Sox and gave it to us. So technically the Yankees started the Apple Watch cheating.
Are you the Genesis, Whitey? What's going on here? I didn't know this.
I don't even know who Chris Young is, whatever.
He's like a fourth outfielder for you guys. Probably gonna be playing when Judge gets hurt again.
Jeter was
whatever.
still playing when he was on your team.
All right, what do you got tonight, White?
Yeah, man. I've been red hot over the Astros cheating scandal for a number of weeks now, but it seems like every time I've been calling in, we've had something else to talk about. But today's a perfect time considering the AJ Hinch interview that just happened, where he basically just. All right, so we all know that the Astros cheated with like the garbage cans, and all that, like bagging the garbage cans in 2017 and basically screwing the Yankees in 2017. But I think this weekend pretty much just was proof that the Astros were also cheating this past year with the buzzers.
Why do you think? Why specifically this weekend? I'm sorry, because I saw the buzzer stuff. I've been seeing the buzzer stuff for a while. What happened this weekend?
Okay, so the AJ Hinch interview.
He straight out came out. Did you hear it?
Yeah, he straight out denied it that they did it, but it was clear that Altuve was doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
so-
Don't hug me after a game-winning. I just need to get to the locker room and make an important call.
He just needed to change it. He really needed to change his shirt before he came back out.
Yeah, doesn't want to hug his teammates all sweaty.
Screaming at his teammates, do not rip off my jersey. And then
There's never been a more blatant case. If there's a blatant case on
my
why
God.
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, just go to that clip right there of him ripping buzzers.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
And-
the AJ Hinch interview was just a slap in everybody's face. The way that the Astros have handled this has been pretty arrogant on their part, pretty much saying denying it. And if they just owned up to it, everyone would move on eventually. Hopefully Altuve and Bregman get drilled a couple times this year because they deserve it.
Oh yeah.
You
That's
think
definitely gonna
Altuve
happen.
is going to suck, Whitey, after all this? Do you think some of these guys, like,
That's a good question.
were
man.
you
Because,
wondering? Because I feel like this whole time I'm like, how does this 5'0" guy hit? That's like, oh, well, I guess if he knew every pitch that was coming, it makes a little bit more sense. So you think any of these guys are going to come back to earth?
I think so, because
Like-
it's just it's absurd. Like if you're a professional baseball player and you know what pitch is coming, like it's completely unfair. Like that's the whole thing. Like
It's trickery, yeah.
Is like differentiating a fastball versus a wicked like breaking ball. Like that's what makes or break hitters. When you can comfortably just lay off every breaking ball in the dirt, and just swing perfectly timed at the fastballs that you know are coming, you have a completely unfair advantage. And it's completely way more unfair than taking steroids because, I'm sorry, Barry Bonds, he didn't know what pitches were coming. He was just jacked and just hit the ball farther when he guessed correctly.
Yeah, and
right?
Bonds also got about one pitch a week to hit, and what did he
Oh,
do?
my God,
He'd hit
yeah.
it 700 feet. So, I mean, it was
Yeah.
like totally different. I'm not going to argue that roids probably help you, but I totally agree with you. It doesn't make you swing the bat faster. It doesn't make you do a lot of things. It doesn't increase your hand-eye coordination. So I agree with
but
you.
the whole-
I think wearing buzzers and knowing exactly what pitch is coming, I think there's really like no way to cheat like better, basically.
That's really like the next level of cheating. It's completely egregious. And what I also took from this interview with AJ Hinch is that Vicardi, that's his name, right? What's the guy's name? The MLB guy?
Verducci?
Verducci, that's it. Yeah, so Verducci, he asked him blatantly, like, were you wearing buzzers? And his answer was like, well, the MLB did an investigation and found no wrongdoing. Like, give me a break. If you didn't do the crime, you would have been like, that's preposterous.
Oh,
no
clearly.
way.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly they did it. And, I mean, I think he wants a job, so he's never going to admit to the fact that he.
Yeah. It's like if you ask me,
Sounds like job preservation to me.
it's like, Whitey, did you murder your wife this weekend? Like, what would I be like? I'd be like, well,
No.
technically, the cops didn't find any wrongdoing. The police department completely cleared me of any wrongdoing. Like, I'd be like, no, get the hell out of here.
If the glove doesn't fit, you didn't do it.
I'd say Whitey is engaged, not married, so.
Yeah,
So-
well, if I killed whoever, if I killed any family member, I would be like, "What? You're absolutely out of your mind."
No, I totally
And-
hear you. Yeah, I was not cleared of the. I was cleared of the or whatever these guys always say whenever they get caught for anything.
Dude, and the
We're
same
a
thing
little
happened
bit
with
used to it up
Bregman.
here in New England because there's a little bit more to fend off.
And like, dude, Bregman did the same thing during it was like fan weekend or something. It was like probably like a couple weeks ago. Someone asked Bregman. He said the same cop out answer. The MLB did an investigation of us and found nothing. That doesn't mean you didn't do it. That just it's
So what do you
biggest
think the
cop-out.
ultimate? So you think it's so egregious? What do you think the ultimate punishment should be? Like if you
I
were
think they should strip-
commissioner.
They should strip the 2017 World Series.
Should they give it to
just-
the Dodgers? That's a
No,
hot take.
Don't give it to the Dodgers. Just remove it from the Astros. Just say it was inconclusive.
Say
that
there
year.
was no champion that year.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because they cheated. And dude, this year, you notice how the Nationals beat the Astros this year? You know how they beat them? Because Alex Cora, a number of former Astros players, told the Nationals about their scheming. They told them. So they were looking out for it. So they were extra careful. That's exactly how they won, because they were fully aware of their cheating. Alex Cora literally told the Nationals manager about the scheme that they had.
So 2018, Red Sox beat the Astros. Who's cheating more in that series? Because we went in there and smoked them. And Alex Cora knew about all the trash barrel stuff. We apparently were cheating, and we went in there and smoked them. I think we beat them 3 times on their home turf.
Ooh.
Well, I think that's what it is, because Alex Cora knew about the whole cheating system, so the Astros couldn't do it against Cora, right?
Yeah, it's crazy to think. So obviously this year we have a AAA squad. We're not going to be very good. I think we just signed Kevin Pillar today. I didn't even know he was still in the major leagues. But the Yankees this year, is this going to be the year? I mean, James Paxton's already out 4 months with surgery. You got Garrett Cole. Hopefully Stanton can stop doing so many roids so he can actually play a full season, not get hurt again. Is this going to be the year?
Well, this would be the year, because the past 3 years we've been playing as cheaters. So if there's ever a year, and then we just signed Garrett Cole as the best pitcher in baseball. So if any year is our year, it would be this year. Because, and then I have to talk about how egregious the MLB is too, to basically not punish the players that were involved in the scheme at all.
Right.
Let them off scot-free. And you notice how this whole thing came out this yesterday, how they're gonna change the format of the playoffs.
Yeah. They're gonna
add a
put
bye
in
and all that.
14 teams or something. They're talking about now.
Yeah, clearly they're trying to distract us from this scandal. You know,
They're like,
when
hey,
did-
the playoffs have a chance. Look over here.
They're trying to distract us. When does the MLB ever implement new innovative progressive rules? They're like the old man on the porch. They do not want change at all.
They say the Sox
Right?
ruling is going to go through spring training. So, I mean, that gives you a sense right there. It's it took them forever. They just said nothing when the Astros got caught of cheating. It just sat there for 2 months, it felt like.
MLB knew about all the cheating that was going on for years. They told the Astros cut the crap, and they brushed it under the rug, because anything of baseball, the ratings are taking a huge plummet every single year, because no one watches baseball unless you're 90 and you have nothing else to do. And now they're just saying, all right, well, you can cheat, but just make sure no one knows about it. And then once it came out, it's baseball. This came out right when the NFL playoffs were going on, and people were talking about baseball more than they were talking about the NFL.
Yeah,
And
the
that's
MLB
their
has a
wet
huge
dream.
ratings issue, and this is not helping anything, because this is turning off a lot of people who watch baseball. It's I can't even watch my team, because basically whoever wins our matchup is whoever has the biggest Silicon Valley nerds in the back office decoding signals and transmitting it to players. It's not about the actual talent. It's crazy.
Yeah, speaking of nerds and mismanagement, what did you think about the whole trade scenario with Mookie Betts and David Price?
I wasn't really aware, what held up the trade? Was it one of the pitchers, the one reliever that threw 102 or whatever? He had Like he scared the Red Sox when he
Yeah,
had
there was one guy that they were tracking as like a starter apparently, but the Minnesota organization had said the whole time, this guy's a reliever. He had like 100-mile-an-hour like sinker.
All
like
baseball
everybody
knew
this guy was a reliever, but the Red Sox apparently, if he didn't have this injury, could be a starter. Tell me what guy, like if they didn't have a certain injury, that makes them a different type of pitcher. It's like you always come back to either being a starter or reliever. It's like you're not an injury turning into, it's like not a being healthy away from being a starter. So,
Yeah,
but apparently this guy was taken. There was a picture of this kid that they first got, the reliever. Apparently there was a picture released of him with an ice cream that had 6 scoops on it. They were calling him like
he looked like El Guapo 2.0.
But apparently he gained about 45 pounds during the season last year. So they're like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
So it's like it's amazing because it's like either
like
they didn't do
Sandoval, right?
It's like it's like they didn't do any due diligence on this. Like we bring up this nerd Chaim Bloom to try to do all this research on the Red Sox, or try to get the best return out of this. When he came up here, it was like probably gonna have to trade Mookie Betts. They want to get under the salary cap or whatever, but to do it for that and then to not even manage the assets that they get back, it's pretty poor. It might have us watching a little bit more Yankee games up here.
Well, let me tell you this, dude. You guys, what you did get in that trade was a shortstop whose first name is Jeter. What do you have to say about that, huh?
Well, I'd say that he's probably roided up.
No. he won't be as good as Derek Jeter, that's for sure. He'll probably end up being Rusney Castillo and never make the Major League roster.
Yeah. I just find that hilarious that you guys acquired a shortstop who's named after Derek Jeter.
How crazy is that? Like how old Derek Jeter is? People are like naming their kids after Jeter. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I'm
Circle
pretty sure,
of life.
like, my fiance is just as big of a Jeter fan as me. We'll probably end up naming our kid like DJ or Derek or something. You never know.
My God, Derek! You're gonna name your kid Derek? That kid is gonna get bullied so hard.
You should name your kid Eli, a Hall of Famer.
Well, Jeter's kind of a weird first name, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably popular in today's world. Kids got kids named Apple. I mean, if you're a celebrity's kid, I mean,
just name your
you never know what you could end up on.
Name your kid Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what you're getting with names these
Jeter
days.
White. That's definitely a model name right there.
I would say Derek is probably the most normal name of any kids in his class. With these names circulating these days. Like
yeah. No. I mean, I don't know what the biggest name is, but it's probably not Jeter. But maybe it will be. If this guy produces, this guy's the test case right here. What is his full name? Do you know his full name?
Jeter Downs.
Jeter Downs.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm asking, do we even know the full names of these guys? Right? It's like Mookie Betts that we just traded, and
you want to talk about the other guy we got, Alex Verdugo? He
apparently he's troubled.
Yeah, apparently he's got a past. He filmed a sexual assault back when he was in the minors, and then sent a Snapchat out to everybody to watch it. Seems like a great role model to bring into Boston.
What a bystander,
I wonder why LA wanted him gone so bad. Let's trade away the franchise.
Oh God, that's absurd.
Well, hey Whitey, we appreciate you calling in tonight, man, and from here to Queens, we hope that the misery for the Yankees is there, but we know that it's not. After we are all crying up here after Chaim Bloom's latest.
No, dude, I've been suffering for the past like 5 years. With the Steelers always getting beat down by Brady, with the Yankees losing to the Red Sox in the playoffs and losing to the cheating Astros, I feel like finally I'm back to square one here. Like where Brady may not even be on the Pats. Ben Roethlisberger's coming back. The Astros are not going to be able to scheme anymore. The Red Sox.
Yeah, and
I think this is the one time I have high hopes.
Yeah, square one for just the Yankees though, right? I mean, you don't have high hopes anywhere else in New York. You're talking
The
about all the
Steelers
teams that
almost
get.
the Steelers almost made the playoffs with Duck Hodges at quarterback, or we get Ben Roethlisberger back.
Yeah, wait till they get
Come on.
400-pound Ben Roethlisberger back this year. That guy's gonna look like a wildebeest by the time he's ready to go. I don't think
he
that
did look
guy
like,
shaved after week one, after the injury, and I don't think he hit the treadmill either.
Well, that's what happens when Antonio Brown's your receiver for a couple of years. You just eat in depression.
Yeah, you turn into a buffalo.
Oh yeah.
Well,
He is
hey,
a Buffalo, like Buffalo Bill.
well, hey, Whitey, appreciate you calling in tonight. We know you're at work pounding away, so we'll let you get back to it, my man.
All right, fellas. And Elaine, I will see you at Lamar's bachelor party. Huh?
I can't wait. Red Sox will already be in last place and far out of the playoffs.
It's going to be a good time.
Go Heim
Yeah,
Bloom.
fellas.
All right, good night.
Later.
So, Whitey there, helping us get a little bit closer to the mismanagement of all this Mookie Betts trade and the David Price stuff.
So I figured we'd continue this by talking about the Red Sox.
Yes.
And let's date this back to 2005. We just won the World Series in 2004. Great year after 86 years.
This is when baseball was fun.
Theo Epstein's running the show. He tells Lucchino, well, we probably should. We're giving away Pedro. We might need to rebuild. We can't just go for it every year. Expert Larry Lucchino says, no. We need to be competitive every year. So let's sign 42-year-old David Wells. Let's sign all these busts. And then as the years progress, Larry Lucchino continues to take ownership of everything. Epstein eventually gets out of here because he's like, who wants to listen to this psychopath every single day? And Epstein was building something. We had all these great prospects. Now let's fast forward to 2013, the year the chicken and beer season. After that epic collapse, Epstein leaves. And I think that was the same year we could have signed Lester. Or maybe it was the year after. Regardless, it was, right around then. We could have gave Lester 100 and how much money?
It could have been a 5-year $100. It could have realistically been like a 5-year $100 million deal.
Well, let's screw him over. A guy that is a cancer survivor, guy that's won World Series here. Let's say, no, you're not well worth it. Let's bring in David Price. He's a great option. Let's pay him, up the what. Let's continue to pay all these pitchers. Chris Sale, 200 and whatever million. Nathan Eovaldi had one good month in his entire career. Let's pay him. And you don't have any money to spend on anybody. And now we become the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays don't have any money, but they continue to win every year. We can't afford to pay Mookie Betts. We can't afford to pay all these guys. So now we have to trade away our players to get bums, prospects that aren't ever going to go anywhere. And on top of that, they raised the ticket prices this year. So come on down. Let's watch the Pawtucket Red Sox this year for 82 games.
Yep.
And let's have a great time.
Come on down to a team that can't even name an actual manager. We just named an interim manager, Ron Renicky. So come on down to root for a nameless, faceless manager that doesn't, that the Red Sox clearly are putting there for a year. Looks like they still probably want to bring back Alex Cora at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least do us a favor. Lower the beer costs, so I can, have a couple beers. I'm actually going to watch the crap that you're putting on the field and enjoy myself because I'm not going to watch any of the games you have this year. JD Martinez probably will get traded at the trade deadline because he wants to get out of here. We have nobody. We have an interim manager, and our ownership cares more about the soccer team in Europe than they do the actual Red Sox.
The worst part about that whole Larry Lucchino stuff was the whole finger wagging each year. Like when they won in 2013, they had to go in front of the Yankees and be like, ha, ha, ha. We signed guys like, who was it? Mike Napoli that they signed, Shane Victorino. They're signing all these like short-term they're like, oh, we don't spend. And then right after that, they're signing guys like Panda, trying to, we want to make all this we want to make all this money. So it's like every year they change their strategy, and it's like a small. I mean, if you're a guy,
done a lot for us.
If you're a guy like Terry Francona, you ask yourself, how did I get fired from a job where I never lost more than 90 games? I won 2 World Series with this team that hadn't won a World Series in 86 years. And it's like, they were just willing to throw that guy out because they had the chicken and beer stuff at the end of the season. And what they have to do, too, is smash all these guys on their way out. Oh, Terry Francona, he had a pain addiction, pain pill addiction,
yeah, of course.
everything. Nobody can leave gracefully. And it's even happening with Mookie Betts now. The guy is And we've got one. Let's hit the phones here. We've got one coming through. Who do we got?
Hey, I was going to ask Billy and Justin about the Celtics trade deadline. And even though the Celtics didn't pull the trigger on anything, what they thought Robert Williams' pending return meant for the Celtics.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. And, I think that Robert Williams is definitely a project, but I think he is a project worth investing in. I think, we saw some great strides out of him where he can be, like 5-5, can get a couple blocks. I think this year he's in the second year of like a 3-year progression where they want to try to get him to, I think it was last year they wanted him to play 8-9 minutes. This year they want him to play 17-18. Next year, they're thinking he might be a defensive player of the year caliber type guy at 25 minutes. So it seemed like he was trending in that direction, but with the hip injury and with so much time missing, I think we're a little bit out on, and it's a little bit of an unknown as what he can deliver. Not really so much a fault to him, but I think, we're just going to have to see here what he's going to be able to give at the end. But his prospects going forward, I think he's somebody worth investing in. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they already gave him the extension on his contract, so they do see a lot in him. And Ainge and Stevens in the offseason said that he worked really hard in the offseason to get better. There were some games earlier in the year where you're like, wow, this guy has got so much freakish ability. He seemed a little bit lost on defense at times, but he's a young player. He's got a lot of potential. He definitely could help, especially if we play the Sixers in the playoffs, even if he's not playing that much to, just continue to hack Embiid, or if we're playing the Bucks, just hack Giannis. It would have been nice to get another big, though, like some sort of a big that can play some defense, a veteran, not just a Tice or a Cantor, because Cantor plays zero defense.
Yeah. And Tristan Thompson, a guy that they said was going to go to the buyout market, who apparently now is not. That would have just made everything so sweet. It seemed like we weren't going to be able to get Capella. At first, last week, it seemed like a week ago when we were on this program, we were crossing our fingers that we might still get Capella. And then nothing happens whatsoever. And it seems like Atlanta doesn't have to give up a whole lot for him. And then I was hoping that Tristan Thompson would slip through in the buyout market, but it seems like he's not. So seems like there may be some shooters out there, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of height left.
I heard that Chloe does not like Boston. So Tristan Thompson was never coming here. She's had bad experiences in Boston, so she won't. He couldn't come.
The anti-Kardashian rule.
Yep. Can't have him in Boston.
That's great. What do you guys think about Taco Fall, though? Like, how's he progressing up in Maine? Do you think there's any time frame of when he'll be coming down to Boston and start practicing in Brighton some more?
Yeah, I think Taco Fall is mostly a guy that's going to get most of his minutes in Maine. He's kind of like the human victory cigar, where when they're even up by like 5 points now, you're starting to get the taco chance. But I just think he's a little bit too. I think he's too slow, a little bit too clumsy, and he puts up these enormous nights in Portland, but it doesn't seem to translate too much to the NBA. I think he's a little bit too slow, a little bit too deliberate, and unfortunately, although it's a great story, I don't think he's going to be a great pro. Justin, do you see him turning into anything?
No, I watched him in the preseason, and he couldn't even catch a basketball. He's like obviously he's 7'6", 7'5". I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think only 7'6" with shoes off.
You watch him in games and his highlights, and it's just him literally standing there and dunking. It'd be like, Matt, you dunking on a children's hoop. You're just standing there dunking. That's all he can do, and block shots. He doesn't have much. He's just. And
it's kind of like accidental blocks. It's like just from standing there, people shoot into his head because he's so tall.
He's the equivalent of Panda on their socks, just selling those jerseys, the Panda dolls.
Human victory cigar.
Yeah, you never know. We root for the guy. Hopefully, he turns into something, but I wouldn't put too much stock into it.
If he turned into something, it would be the biggest story ever. He's turned into nothing, and he's almost an all-star. They almost had him in the all-star. If it could have been fan voting, he would have been in the all-star game.
Absolutely.
So America loves him, but we don't. I don't know.
No, I hear you. To me, it's kind of like you're trying to play in your driveway amongst like your neighborhood friends in elementary school, but there's the 6-foot high schooler kid that wants to play in the 5-on-5 tournament, and he's goofy, and he's just blocking shots everywhere, but he's not necessarily that good comparatively speaking to all of your boys when you're trying to play.
Yeah, he's definitely going to slow down the pace, too, a little bit. I feel like sometimes he is just like a slow-motion play. Like, it's almost like a crane, like when he has to shoot, like a candy crane. Like, I feel like almost like reaching out when he's, like, reaching his arm up to the – it's just slow.
It's literally like watching me and
I almost feel like I could block him.
It's like me in high school running to second base. It is literally slow motion. There's no wind.
And in an NBA where it's just so fast, three-pointers are running the show. You got Kyle Korver hanging out with Giannis just so Giannis can try to get a three-pointer. But yeah, it's a much faster game. You see guys like, if guys like Pierce and stuff had to play in today's NBA, it would definitely just be a different game. You used to be able to see guys play a lot slower, a lot more deliberate. Today it's like lightning out there, So Taco Fall doesn't really fit in line with that, Matt.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, we didn't pull the trigger on anybody, and those guys are developmental projects, but it does look like, Gordon Hayward's going to be a part of the long-term plan, which is nice. Yeah,
I think so too. I mean, I think he's a guy that's shown to us that he can get back to the Gordon Hayward that we signed for, and over the winning streak, he's been like 25-5, and as Justin was saying, he's a guy that you can trust to handle the ball. When Marcus Smart, who's been out a little bit, Kemba, who's been out on some of these injuries, you can trust Gordon Hayward to bring the ball up, and you can trust him to get like 7-8 assists. So he's a pretty integral part of the team, I would definitely have to say.
Absolutely. Well,
really,
hey, love the show. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we appreciate you carving out a little bit of time for us, and we'll let you go on your way. We thank you for calling in tonight.
Love the show, Billy. Really appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care, guys.
All right.
See you, Matt.
Great stuff out of Matt. And, I mean, I think it is a good thing that, you were talking about it earlier, but Brian Robb had written about it. And, Hayward seems like he's going to be on the long-term plan. It seemed like 2 years ago we probably would have hated that.
I mean,
you thought about what's going to happen to that extra year. Now you're hoping that he signs in for that extra year.
Yeah, that night he got hurt. It's you wait 4 years of all the crappy seasons. You're waiting for those Nets picks to hit, and you get Kyrie and you get Gordon, and then he gets hurt in the first quarter, and you're like, this is over like that quick. And then last year, he just wasn't ready, and he got put in the starting lineup. He probably should have never been in the starting lineup, but now he's got his confidence back, and you can see he's our best passer, and he can hit. He doesn't hit a lot of threes, but that fadeaway shot he's got, it's unguardable. So.
Yeah.
He's probably one of our most underrated players on the team.
Yeah. Well, hey, I know you're pretty bullish on two of the next guys that I'm going to name, Jaylen Brown as well as Jason Tatum. And you don't even have to take the Player of the Week award out of Boston as Jaylen Brown passes it over to Tatum. Who do you think has made a bigger jump this year?
To me, I personally think it's Jaylen Brown. I think Jason Tatum is obviously going to be a 25-point-per-game scorer. He came in the league with already a polished game, but Jaylen Brown came in the league, and no one even projected him to go in the top 5. He went third. He's a raw freak athlete, but he has got no offensive skill. He can't shoot. And this year, I think he's shooting around 40% from three. The only thing he's really struggling at still is free throws, but other than that, he's a good defender, and he's the only player on the team that can cut to the hoop aggressively and dunk it on people. There's no one else on the team that can do that.
Yep. And I feel like years past, you would kind of see him almost like forget to get his offense, and it was almost like there were too many pieces. He does seem to be consistently, game after game, going out there and getting his, making dunks, getting close baskets. Like, he'll hit his threes, but he's always kind of been aggressive this year. It's something that we've seen.
Yeah.
If you told me he was going to go from 13 points to 21 points, I mean, last year he took a step back, and I don't know. I didn't like to see that in year 3, but year 4, I mean, the guy is all there.
And not only that, he's averaging 7 rebounds a game. There's not many shooting guards in the league that are averaging 7.
No.
Now, granted, Jason Tatum, especially over the past month, probably since around Christmas time, he's become our number one guy. It's not Kemba, it's Tatum. And he's the one that's in the crunch time hitting those shots. Kemba still can do it. And you don't really see that much from Jaylen Brown, but Jaylen Brown, I would have never in a million years predicted him to be averaging 20 points a game this year.
Yeah, I know. And you mentioned it too with the rebounds and what they've done with all those guys. I mean, if you look at Hayward, Tatum, and Brown, they're all averaging like 7 boards. And it's kind of been like the Celtics, although they don't have a big, they've managed to somehow kind of rebound. And, they go against this team tonight in the West, which is almost the equivalent of them, kind of like the small ball team version of them. I guess, do you think the Celtics can make their small ball team work? Like, can they get past the Bucks? Can they make a serious run with this team if you have all 4 of these guys playing at the highest level?
See, it's going to be hard to get past the Bucks. Let's face it, their bench is loaded too. Every time, even when Giannis goes out there, when their bench comes in, it's our bench. They hit like a bunch of threes, and especially in Milwaukee. I do think they can get a couple rounds if they play the 76ers. I think that honestly is our biggest challenge, just because of the size. If they can figure that out. Now Horford, it's funny now he's there and he's not. It's chaos over there now, but. I do think potentially maybe they could get a couple games against the Bucks. It's going to be challenging, and Jaylen Brown I feel like is the key factor in that series, because he's going to have to play some defense on Chris Middleton, maybe some defense on Giannis, and you're going to need him to have some big quarters where he hits a couple buckets, unless they can get like an Isaiah Thomas out of the buyout market, because you're going to need some guy to come in to hit a bunch of threes. You can win in Boston, but to win in Milwaukee, you're going to need almost a perfect game.
Do you see Isaiah Thomas getting picked up by a team? Do you think he will?
I hope the Celtics do. How crazy does that sound?
That would be pretty crazy. I think he could give us kind of that liquid offense, but, I mean, the Celtics do have defenders, though, so it's almost like they'd be a lot better positioned to play a guy like Isaiah Thomas now than they were a few years ago, especially at the end of games.
I mean, and the thing is, like, you don't, like, back when he was on our team, you had to hide him on defense. You don't have to do that.
We've got one ringing through here. Hi, you're live on Open Season.
Hello?
Hi there. You're live.
Yeah. Who is this? I just got this call to show.
No, this number doesn't call out.
What do you mean?
You got to dial the number, so we didn't call you.
I did. No, I did dial the number, and I'm trying to get a hold of him.
Okay. So who are you?
Well, you know what show I'm talking about, right? Open Season?
Yeah.
With Billy Allen?
Yeah.
Well, this is Carlos. I'm all the way down from Texas, and I just want to talk to them and see what they got, because I hear they're talking about sports. You got to dial the number. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want to turn your either background down a little bit so we can hear you a little bit better?
Yeah.
So what's on your mind tonight from Texas?
No, I just seen that they were talking about the Celtics and all that. You know what I mean? I want to see what do they think about the Lakers? About you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm a diehard Lakers fan.
I think the Lakers have a great starting 5, and I think that they don't have the deepest bench that they need. I think they maybe needed to make a move or two. I think they could be a team that does really well in the regular season and probably does, in all honesty, pretty well in the playoffs, but I could see them getting knocked off by the Clippers. I think they're right there talent-wise. I think they're up there as, a top 2 team in the West. What do you think? What's your diagnosis on them?
I don't know. I just know that they're going to get it. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, I don't know. I'm just a diehard Lakers fan. You know what I'm saying? I seen y'all talking about sports.
Yeah.
And honestly, LeBron, man, I hate LeBron. I hated LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But once he got switched to the Lakers, because I've been just Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, to change over that jersey.
I had a and now he's wearing their jersey, so I had to give him respect. Give him his respect, because now he's in the Lakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But about the playoffs, what do y'all think?
I mean, in the playoffs, I think you guys will be pretty competitive. I think you guys are probably going to get to the Western Conference Finals. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think the only challenge really is the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers bench is just loaded too. The Clippers bench could beat an 8 seed in the Eastern Conference in playoffs. And the
Yeah.
Lakers bench is just when Alex Caruso is playing in the fourth quarter, there's a problem. So if Davis gets hot, their offense is just too basic. They're passing it to Anthony Davis to go down low, or LeBron is going to the hoop. They don't have
I just feel like the Lakers are really good, like 6 deep, and it kind of stops there. Whereas the Clippers are going to be able to run a full squad after you, like Justin was saying.
I feel like the Lakers are a year ahead. Like I think next year when they get another star, which they most likely will, because all their guys are on 1-year deals. Then they'll be able to add someone else.
How do you guys feel about Kyle Kuzma as a Lakers fan? There's a lot of back and forth.
He's good. I heard he might get traded or something.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
was. Well, they were close. They said that the Knicks were going to put together a pretty package. Yeah.
Hey, he's a rookie, right? He's a rookie, right? Am I not mistaken?
This is his third year, so he's young.
His third year, okay. It was his third year, okay. But I think he's doing good. I checked out whenever they traded him. I was like, what the hell? The reason. Excuse me if I cuss. I'm sorry if I cuss. But the reason I started following the open season with Billy Allen?
Yeah. What's the reason?
The reason is, Tim O'Connor?
Yeah.
Well, I follow his live, his broadcast, whatever, and then I just seen y'all's, you know what I mean? So I started adding all of them, you know what I'm saying?
Nice. Well, what do you think? What do you think so far?
About what?
What do you think about the program?
Show?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's good. You know what I'm saying? Something to keep yourself entertained. We don't have this down in Texas. You know what I'm saying? I never seen no shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Unless I don't know a lot of people. But I'm from Corpus, like way down from Texas.
Well, hey, give us a share if nobody is down there. Spread the word. We'll take any cross pollination we can from Tim O'Connor's show over there at the Fully Focused podcast.
Well, what you think about are y'all talking about the John Jones and the man, I forgot his name.
I honestly forget his name too, but did you watch the fight?
Yeah, I watched the fight. I think the Mexican got robbed.
I agree.
John Jones is just like Mayweather, you know what I mean? Or Mayweather made money, you know what I'm saying? Money Mayweather, regardless of what way, he's always going to win at the end, you know what I mean, by decision. So I think John Jones got it by decision-wise,
Yeah. I honestly didn't see the fight, Justin.
No, I agreed. I thought that I don't know who the fighter was, but I definitely thought he should have won.
But he might have gotten busted up, and but honestly, if you pay attention to the fight, he was getting John Jones, you know what I'm saying? Like on the cool, and I was like, damn.
The only thing I'll say about John Jones is he has to get ready for every guy's biggest punch, and he's used to throwing haymakers for 5 rounds. His conditioning is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I also feel like the UFC needed John Jones to win. He's been through a lot, and he's one of the biggest stars.
Yeah, but if you won that one, I bet it was all planned, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like with the Canelo and Mayweather, Canelo had that fight, you know what I mean? But Mayweather just won at the end because, that's Money Mayweather and that's everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, hey, we definitely appreciate the call. We're getting close to the end of the program, so we're probably going to have to let you go. What was your name again?
Carlos.
Carlos. Well, hey, Carlos, it was great to have you on tonight, and we hope you stay a loyal listener and, stay tuned to the Fully Focused podcast. So appreciate you calling in tonight.
All right.
All right. Take care, my friend.
All right. You have a good one. Thank you.
All right. So, God bless. Honestly, I didn't see that fight, but it seems like John Jones, there's got to be somebody that's got to put him down soon enough.
Yeah, no, I think they both had a really good fight. It could have gone either way. I just feel like UFC needs John Jones to win a couple fights to,
Why do you think they back him so hard, especially with all
he's the best heavyweight fighter? He's, all the drugs he's it's crazy that he's even still allowed to fight.
That's what I'm saying. The guy's still got drugs in his system from a couple of years ago, I think. And they still
he draws a big crowd.
Yeah.
Just like what's his name, McGregor.
Yeah.
And McGregor, that fight was a cakewalk. They gave him an easy person to beat, and that guy just bowed down so easily in 12 seconds. And it's we need him to win a fight, and we'll keep booking McGregor fights.
Yeah, McGregor, I feel like McGregor isn't even good anymore.
Exactly.
It seems like. So
I don't even know who the cowboy guy was, but that fight lasted 12 seconds.
Yeah, so they just stuffed the doll that he could come and knock out the chair. Well, hey, that is going to knock it out for us here at Open Season. We appreciate Brian Robb checking in with us tonight. Again, you can tune in to him on the Boston Sports Journal as well as 98.5 The Sports Hub. For Brian Murphy, for Justin Allain, I'm Billy Allen, and we'll catch you next week.
I'm just not sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your bag.